Elise here in the children's room at Bowman Library with another middle grade book spotlight. So, in case you didn't know, this whole week is International Gaming Week. And I thought that would be a perfect jumping point for our theme this week. So all the books that we're going to be talking about today have some sort of game theme to it, whether it's game, puzzles, mazes, board games, virtual reality, anything that could be a game. So we have 6 books that have some sort of feature along those lines, and we're going to get started. So one of my favorites, Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's Library by Chris Grabenstein. So amazing game maker Luigi Lemoncello decides he's going to go back to his hometown and he's going to build the most incredible, amazing library people have ever seen. Then he decides he's going to offer a competition, and there's going to be 12 winners that are chosen, and they're going to have the chance to be the first ones in this library for a sleepover. When Kyle wins, he soon finds out that there's more to this sleepover. Not only are they going to be locked in this library overnight, but there's going to be an incredible scavenger hunt, and the winner of this scavenger hunt is going to get to be the spokesperson for the commercials for his entire game company. So that leads to craziness and mysteries and competition between these 12 kids. Some decide they're going to work together, some decide they're going to work by themselves, some decide they're not going to try to solve the mystery or scavenger hunt, but they're just going to try to sabotage other people that are trying to get to the end. This epic scavenger hunt will have you solving all the mystery along with Kyle and his friends. It's the first in a series. I will have to tell you, you're going to want to read the others, but you do kind of have to read them in order to kind of understand the plot lines that are taking place. Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's Library. Jigsaw Jungle by Kristen Levine, and I will be the first one to tell you I love me a good puzzle. So when I heard about this one, I knew it was going to be good. 12-year-old Claudia is having a really hard time with the recent disappearance of her father. Like, he just never came home one day. She starts to put together a scrapbook of sorts with all these emails and text messages and phone logs and more what she thinks is evidence to try to get to the bottom of what happened to her father, because she doesn't seem to think anyone is looking for him. When she's sent to stay with her grandfather, she gets something weird in the mail. A random puzzle piece with the words on the back written, "Find the time capsule." Claudia and her new friend Louise start on this trail of trying to find clues, and they have to end up making puzzles and putting things together, and they piece all these clues and pieces of evidence together that are going to lead to a secret about Claudia's dad that explains the reason why he is missing. This realistic book with a touch of mystery is all about family and friendship with a little bit of clue hunting and puzzle putting together. Jigsaw Jungle. Oh, this one is one of my new favorites. I love the spin this book takes. So this is Homerooms and Hall Passes by Tom O'Donnell. So in the fantasy world known as Brienne Lador, an apprentice wizard, a barbarian, a thief, a paladin, and an elf always get together on Thursday night to play a role-playing game in which it's called Homerooms and Hall Passes. So it's kind of like their version of Dungeons and Dragons. Only in this role-playing game, they get sent to a world in which they are middle school students. When Devis the thief steals a cursed treasure, they find themselves actually being transported to a middle school, the one that's in their game. And they actually become the middle school students that they play in their role-playing game. The only way they are going to be able to get back to their real lives in their fantasy world is to survive the rest of the semester as middle school students. But it's not going to be that simple, even though, being in middle school is already kind of complicated to begin with, because they also brought along this evil sorcerer named Zerzerdik who wants to stop them at any cost. This humor-filled fantasy adventure will have you laughing out loud and experiencing middle school just like you do. Homerooms and Hall Passes. A classic, the Egypt Game by Zephyr's Keatley Snyder. When April is sent to live with her grandmother, she is not thrilled, but she soon becomes friends with some siblings, Melanie and Marshall, who also live in the neighborhood. They start creating imagination games based on their shared interests in archaeology, and they soon find a replica of a famous bust of Nefertiti. That leads them to create their own game based on ancient Egypt. And they start doing tons of research on ancient Egypt, and they develop their own rituals that are based on Egyptian history and mythology. Soon, more and more neighborhood kids start joining their game, but they have to keep it a secret. They do not want anyone knowing what they are doing. When a little girl from their neighborhood disappears and is later found dead, they create an Egyptian oracle, or something that's going to tell the future, to find answers. But this leads to a series of unexplained events, and they can't help but wondering if they caused all of this and if they should stop playing. This creepy mystery will leave you wondering the same thing: the Egypt Game. Game On by DJ Steinberg. So when Daniel is introduced to a new video game, he becomes addicted to it, and he needs to play it all the time. He becomes so engrossed by this game that he ends up getting actually sucked into this video game. He soon finds out that the game was created by Old Fogey with this goal of trapping people into this game. And it's going to be up to Daniel, or his alter ego, that's also known as Loud Boy, and his friends to find this hidden object that is in this game somewhere that's going to save not only him and his friends, but everyone else who is trapped into this game. So it's like a real life video game that they get to play. This graphic novel is in a series that features a series of adventures featuring Daniel and his friends. Game On. And our last one is Slacker by Gordon Korman. So Cameron is a gamer. That's the only thing he likes to do, and it's the only thing that he enjoys doing. After the kitchen in his house burns down because he was too busy playing a video game and not paying attention to taking dinner out of the oven, his punishment is he's not allowed to game, and he has to get involved in a club at school. So he and some other kids who enjoy gaming, they decide they know what they're gonna do. They form their own club, but they're gonna call it the Positive Action Group. But it's going to be a front just so they can all get together after school and they can keep gaming. But soon before they can even realize it's happening, other students, like students that aren't into gaming and they think it's a real club, start joining this club. And they get a teacher who is willing to be their advisor and help them, and they realize they actually are gonna have to do something. And that something is they need to figure out how they're going to save a homeless beaver. This realistic comedy will find Cameron making new friends and living life outside of gaming. And I will tell you this because I literally just saw it today. The second book, and we just got the second book in this series. It's on the new bookshelf. I literally just saw it, I promise you. So when you're done with this one, you can read the next one. So this is Slacker by Gordon Korman. So these are just 6 of the books that we have here that have some sort of gaming element, but we do have more. So if you're interested in reading more than just these, feel free to come on by and we will help you find that perfect book. I hope to get you tune in next week for another middle grade book spotlight when we have a completely different theme, and I hope you have a great week.